I think on that point, I've seen precious little evidence presented yet that Trump wasn't floating above. I mean, I've seen very little evidence of Trump's direct involvement in getting this accomplished. So, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you're right. A lot of that's going to come from Michael Cohen, but also there was a few tidbits in David Pecker's testimony, right? That there were direct communications. But it's a great point, David. There hasn't not been much evidence yet directly of Donald Trump's involvement and knowledge.
Well, and I think on that point,
all of the cases against Trump are falling apart. And in this video today, we are going to be talking about the Alvin Bragg case with Stormy McDaniels. Okay, it's all falling apart. As you just saw, that was a clip from CNN. Yeah, I know. But I do think it is significant when you have leftist media outright saying, yeah, there's no real evidence here that he was actually involved with this, you know? I've got a lot more clips I want to show you guys involving this entire case, and you are not going to want to miss this, as well as a last clip that I'm going to show you at the end that I think really sums up this entire thing and really I'm not going to spoil it, but you're definitely not going to want to miss that last clip I'm going to show you guys. So stick around, like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in.
First things first, I mean, he's obviously right. We know the judge's, payments to Joe Biden and political contributions. We know the history of his daughter and the way she's making money, millions of dollars for Democrat candidates, clearly against Donald Trump. That's all part and parcel kind of with where Donald Trump is mentally here. And when he comes out and makes those statements, it's obvious the judge is biased. And this gag order, really, as I understand it, attorneys tell me they're designed to protect the defendant against what the prosecution may say publicly. So it's unconstitutional from the standpoint of Donald Trump doesn't get to defend himself, but of course they can attack him. And you see that kind of manifest itself too with someone like Michael Cohen. On your air today, and I've been watching all day, people have been saying that, quite frankly, they haven't made the case against Donald Trump here, that they can't prove he violated the law, and they're hinging the entire case on someone who's unhinged. I mean, have you seen this guy's TikTok?
I'm telling you guys, I mean, it's just clip after clip after clip. And, I love what is said in this next clip. Check it out.
That you're a voter, okay, and you're hearing this stuff. It might actually be just like a fundamental issue of fairness. It doesn't seem fair that Donald Trump's not allowed to criticize him when he's constantly throwing punches at him.
Well, the voters that we talk to obviously don't really care about this case. I mean, I cover Donald Trump and I go to his rallies, so no one there is, up in arms.
Do they even know he's on trial?
They do know he's on trial, but they think it's unfair. And I will tell you that this case going first, one of the interesting conversations I had with someone who worked for the Trump administration, was very close to Donald Trump, actually no longer has any ties with him, told me that this case going first made him want to put a MAGA flag in his front yard because he felt like it was unfair. And that's really the sentiment when you go to these rallies.
Now, that sounded like a made-up story, but if it is true, you have someone who doesn't support Trump saying that, these cases, especially this case, I want to go support the guy again, like MAGA. Hey, and listen, I do think that is, the overwhelming sentiment. And we saw that when the cases were even beginning to be announced. But let's continue on. Now, Stormy Daniels obviously took the stand, and listen to what Shira, I'm not going to try to pronounce her last name, but she's a former U.S. District Court judge. Listen to what she had to say about Stormy Daniels taking the stand.
The material that came in was not relevant to this criminal case at all. And I think it shows that she was trying to get Trump. I actually thought there was a motive there. She said she hates him. She said she'd like to see him in prison. I think she was purposely throwing out this stuff to make sure the jurors were prejudiced, particularly the women jurors, but probably half of the men too, were really put off.
Yeah. This case is going nowhere fast. Nowhere fast. This is all CNN clips, right? This isn't right-wing media, right? Okay, because well, of course, right-wing media is gonna say stuff like that. I can see the comment now, right, from some Democrat. Of course, right-wing media is gonna say that stuff. No, this is CNN. This is CNN. And hey, as I say sometimes with these videos, there's more.
Jurors, Casey?
Just one thing that I've been sort of noticing as this has gone on is that there have been a couple times where she seems to be cracking a joke, trying to get a reaction from the jury, and our reporters in the room have noted that the jury hasn't seemed to respond
No, they're
to
taking
that.
their job seriously.
I mean, what do you make of that?
Humor is risky in the courtroom, especially if you go in with lines, like it looks like Stormy. If something happens spontaneously, if an easel falls over, people will laugh. They're human. But it's never going to work if you go in there like, I'm going to amuse the jury. I'm going to sort of say this clever thing.
Going in with lines to try to get the jury to laugh. And this is supposed to be taken seriously. Yeah. I'm going to show you guys one more clip from CNN. Check it out.
The cross-exam, boy, her responses were disastrous. I mean, do you hate Donald Trump? Yes, of course she does. That's a big deal. When the witness hates the person whose liberty is at stake, that's a big damn deal. And she's putting out tweets, fantasizing about him being in jail. That really undermines the credibility. The fact that she owes him $500,000. She, by order of a court, owes Donald Trump $500,000 and said, I will never pay him. I will defy a court order. The defense is going to say she's willing to defy a court order. Why? She's not willing to respect an order of a judge. Why is she going to respect this oath she took? So I thought it went quite poorly on cross-exam. At the end of direct, I thought, okay, they got what they needed, but I think the cross is making.
So one of their star witnesses said out loud that she is willing to defy a court order, and the other is unhinged. And here's a compilation of Michael Cohen, the other star witness. Check it out.
But one thing Donald Trump is, he's a compassionate man. He's a man of great intellect, great intuition, and great abilities. Mr. Trump's memory is fantastic, and I've never come across a situation where Mr. Trump has said something that's not accurate. Mr. Trump truly cares about America. He loves this country. He's an amazing negotiator, maybe the best ever in the history of this world. The words the media should be using to describe Mr. Trump are generous, compassionate, principled, empathetic, kind, humble, honest, and genuine. He's not lying. He was protecting a friend. There's a difference.
What is the difference?
The difference is he was being a true friend. It didn't matter to him. He will ultimately, and I've said this so many times, he will ultimately go down in history as the greatest president. But
that's their other star witness, who we have on videotape talking about how great Donald Trump really is, how good of a person he is, how good of character he has. And now that guy is now going to try to take the stand to say the exact opposite. Yeah. That's one of their star witnesses. Okay. Now, leftist media has gotten desperate, and I want you guys to see this clip from Lawrence O'Donnell and how he describes Stormy Daniels. It is absolutely just so cringe. Oh my goodness. Just listen. They're getting desperate, and it shows.
Well, the excitement and anticipation in the room hit a new high at 10:32 a.m. She entered wearing all black, as if on her way to a funeral. The loose-fitting, plain black clothing draping from her shoulders to her toes suggested the modesty of a nun. The makeup was minimal, the way she and the other moms in her neighborhood might look when shopping at the local grocery store. The long blonde hair held up with a clip at the back of her head. the way it might be in a utilitarian way while she was doing dishes or checking one of the horseshoes on her horse. She later spoke of so proudly. When she walked by him, her face had the same expressionless, somber look that all the jurors always have when they walk by him.
Compared her to a nun. Oh, man. Wow. So I got two more clips that I want to show you guys. And this is the, this in my opinion, is the whole purpose of this entire case. Now I'm going to show you one clip of Alan Dershowitz first, and then I have one more clip and I'm going to get you guys out of here. Okay. I know we're going just a tad bit long, not crazy though. And this, I think, sums up the entire case. Check it out.
Well, first of all, there was clear reversible error today committed by the judge and by the prosecution under the reasoning of the recently reversed Harvey Weinstein case. So much information came out that was utterly irrelevant. Let's start with whether they had sex at all. Utterly irrelevant. The only issue is whether she threatened to expose him and whether she extorted him and whether he then paid money to avoid the embarrassment to his family, to his business, to his children, and, according to the prosecution, to help himself get reelected. The issue of what actually happened is utterly irrelevant. And then we get to the details, the silk pajamas, the kind of lotion he was wearing. I can't imagine how the Court of Appeals in New York that reversed the Harvey Weinstein conviction, which was a harder case to reverse, wouldn't reverse this conviction if it got up there. I would certainly recommend to the prosecutors in this case that they study the Weinstein case very carefully because it gives a roadmap to what you can't do. And this prosecutor is just following the roadmap of what you can't do.
So you heard that, right? Okay. This case is virtually cooked. Now, I'm going to play this video for you, and this says the whole thing.
Whoever paid for Stormy Daniels' silence deserves a refund at this point because we've heard every dirty detail and all of it's completely irrelevant. And in fact, it should never have come in. I know there's been a lot of legal pundits saying that, but under the rules of evidence, this is inadmissible evidence. It has nothing to do with the charges. It should not have come in. It does probably constitute what would be considered reversible error, but likely the prosecution does not care because at that point, this is all about the election. And I think we see that. But what I will say is that I think the jury might see this as the low blow that it is. And so they may not have the patience for it. This is totally unconnected to any of the charges and has almost no relevance to the proving up of this case.
Okay, so they know it's garbage. They're just doing it, even if it is inadmissible and could blow up the mistrial. They don't care. They just want to get this dirt in before the election. Now, how are they blindsiding the Trump defense with 24-hour notice about who the next witness is going to be? How's that fair to sandbag the defendant?
Well, the defense knows generally what witnesses are going to be called. They don't know the order that they're going to be called in.
But you need to be able to prepare.
Of course you do. And so there's no answers. There's no answers from Judge Merchan regarding the explanation for why they're being sandbagged in that way. So that is totally non-standard. They should be informed. They should have adequate time to prepare. Cross-examinations take a lot of preparation, and there's a lot of prior statements that Stormy Daniels has given that they need to go over. So certainly it's completely unfair. But again, I think it proves the point that this is not necessarily about keeping a clean record for the appeal because the appeal seems almost a foregone conclusion at this point.
All right, we're just hearing more dirty things about two of the prosecutors. One of them was a paid DNC consultant. The other prosecutor on Bragg's team was a Biden donor. Oh, also the judge is a Biden donor.
So lots of folks donating to Biden and the DNC involved in this case. But not only that, there's a lot of stuff that shouldn't actually be in here that was actually in there. Okay. And you heard them explain that there. There's a lot of stuff that's being said that has nothing to do with the case. There's a lot of things that are being done that are going to cause some problems down the line when this case is appealed. But That's the whole point. They don't care. This isn't about locking Donald Trump up. This is about smearing his name right before a presidential election. That's all they care about. They know this case is cooked. They know it is cooked. But throw as much dirt on him as possible right before the election, though. He can win his appeal, but that appeal isn't going to happen until after the election. And hopefully he's lost already, so when he wins his appeal, it's not going to matter anyway. We're already in office. See the point? See what they're doing there? Exactly. Dirty games. Dirty games. And once again, this is what I'm talking about when I say that Democrats are very strategic, and it annoys me. It pisses me off. It really does. When I watch Republicans like just get danced around by these Democrats. It's like, yo, we have way better policies. Look at this country right now. Look what Democrats have done to this country. Like I said before, Democrats shouldn't even be close. They shouldn't be winning anything at all. But they run circles around Republicans when it comes to strategy. Democrats are playing chess, right? While Republicans are playing checkers. Democrats are thinking 10 moves ahead. I showed you guys the clip. There's folks who literally get on phone calls together for the DNC to strategize, to stress test certain things. They're 10 steps ahead. Oh, okay, so we're gonna do this, but what if Republicans come back with this? Let's stress test that a little bit. Let me play the role of a Republican, and you play the role of a Democrat, and I'm gonna come at you. Let's see how that one. No, that idea might get pulled apart. Let's go with this one, bro. They are so far ahead of Republicans when it comes to this type of stuff. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous because Republicans should be winning every single election just based off of policies alone. Republicans should be winning. But Republicans are like, I don't know. I don't even know what to compare it to at this point. But I'm just disappointed, right? I'm disappointed, and this is a perfect example of what I mean when I say that Democrats are very strategic. If you needed an explanation, there you go. That is strategy. They don't care about an appeal. That appeal is not going to happen until after the election, so it's not going to matter. Throw as much dirt on them as possible right before the election, though. Hey, Stormy, tell the whole story in complete detail. Doesn't matter if it has anything to do with the case, though. Doesn't matter at all. It's ridiculous what Republicans are out here doing, man. We got to do better. We have to do better. And we have to elect better Republicans as well. Also, I am going to be... I may just start a video series of exposing, rhino Republicans and coming up with some type of alternative. I may do like a whole video series on, all the rhino Republicans and who's a possible candidate to replace them, a true Republican to replace them. Because once we do that, I guarantee you all this stuff goes out the window and Republicans win election after election. If we get the rhinos out, we'll be on the right track. But as always, y'all let me know your thoughts, your opinions on this in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.